Let's move on to the next question type, which is chart and table completion. Now, as you know that in tables the information is organized in a tabular format, that is in rows and columns. So identifying it is not that difficult, and here there are various variants that are given, and have a look at them. I'm not going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about an example straight away. Let me tell you that in chart and table completion, the information may be enclosed in a particular paragraph. So let's look at the question. The article is baby love, and complete the table below which shows the final results of the scientist's research. For question, now they are giving you instructions and you need to follow those instructions while giving the answers. From question number 14 to 17, you have to tick for preferences, and you have to make a cross if that is not the preference. And for question 18 to 19, you can use no more than 3 words. So let's find out. Basically, this is an article about a research where there are 2 age groups of children. One age group is 4-year-old group and the other is 8-year-old group. They want to know what type of teddy bears they like. So there are 2 types of teddy bears. One type is with adult features and the other type is with baby-faced features. And they also want to know what do these 2 age groups want to do with these teddy bears. So let's have a look at it. Let us have a look at the passage, the paragraph, and find out what it takes. So baby love, why we want to take care of teddy bears. At the turn of the century, the first teddy bears had low foreheads, long snouts, long limbs like real bears. But over the time, they have developed more baby-like features. So far, there is no information about our age group. Let's move on. Now, the second paragraph says, when asked to choose their favorite bears from each pair, the older children, which is 43 out of 54, they have given us the numbers also, preferred the baby-faced teddies. But the 4-year-old chose the baby-faced and adult featured bears for each pair equally. When asked which one of all the bears they liked best, the older children chose baby-faced, but the 4-year-old chose one with adult features. So let's say these are the questions. Now we have identified the keywords, and let's see. The older children chose more baby-faced bears, but the 4-year-old preferred the ones with adult features. So let's look at the table and let's try to give a tick mark or a cross. So 4-year-old chose baby-faced or adult featured. Now you have already seen that the 4-year-old children chose adult featured. So there is a tick mark at adult, and in front of the baby-faced we have marked cross. And for older children, that is the 8-year-old children, they chose baby-faced, so we have put a tick mark and a cross on the next side. Now there are still 2 more questions to be answered, and for that we will read further. The scientists also asked children what they would like to do with their favorite bear. The 4-year-olds wanted to play with it. So the younger children wanted to play, but the older children said they would like to sleep with the bear. So again, what do they want to do with their bears? The younger children wanted to play and the older children wanted to sleep. Okay, this is chart table completion. Let's move on further. Let's move on to the next type. Salty rice plant boost harvest. This is basically a question type which is note completion. Whenever there are note completion type questions, what is important? In the questions, they are giving you information that can lead to the right answer. For example, if I look at these questions, complete the notes below, choose one or two words from the passage for each answer. Write your answer in boxes 1 to 4 on your answer sheet. Now the first question, the keyword in the first question is basically aim of the research. So basically we are talking about some research. Okay, now I don't want to do skim again and again, but you will do it on your own. So let me just skim it once for you. Salty rice plant boost harvest. So they have named a rice plant which is named salty, and because of salty the harvests have increased, boosted, doubled, tripled, I don't know. And let us look at the subheading also, which says British scientists are breeding a new generation of rice plants that will be able to grow in soil contaminated with salt water. This is a big problem. You know that the land gets contaminated with salt water and then it is not usable for crops. So they are trying to breed something, a new generation of rice plants that will be able to grow in soil contaminated with salt water. Their work may enable abundant farms to become productive once more. Wright means Hargrave. So this is an article about a research that the scientists are doing to make the farms that have been abandoned because they have become salty and there are no crops growing there. So let's just do the skimming quickly. Tony Flowers and Tony Yo from Sussex. Tim Flowers and Tony Yo from Sussex University School of Biological Sciences have spent several years researching how crops such as rice could be made to grow in water that has become salty. The pair have recently begun a 3-year program to establish which genes enable some plants to survive saline conditions. It is estimated that each year more than 10 million hectares of agricultural land are lost because salt gets into the soil and stunts the plant. In the Mediterranean, a series of droughts have caused the water table to drop, allowing seawater to seep in. Then they say excess salt then enters the plants and prevents them from functioning normally. To overcome these problems, Flowers and Yo decided to breed new rice plant. Once the characteristic for surviving salty plants are known, surviving salty soil are known, Flowers and Yo will try to breed the appropriate genes. We have done the skimming. Basically, it is research on how to make land usable again that has been contaminated by salt water. So the article is about that. Now, let's see. We will do it the way we normally would like to do. So the first question is aim of the research. What is the aim of the research? To identify dash that promote growth in salt water. First of all, we must understand that what are the keywords here? The keyword here is aim of the research. So if we know what is the aim of the research, we will be able to find the answer to this question. So we have to find where is the aim. Now the aim is already given in the last sentence. The aim is to breed this capability into crops starting with rice. This capability? What is this capability? There is no mention of this capability. So it means we have to read before this also to find out which capability they are talking about. But before we do that, let us look at the sentence also. It says to identify. What is the aim of the research? The aim of the research is to identify dash that promote growth in salt water. So first we look at the aim of the, we have already identified that area of the text that contains aim of the research. Now let us read it word by word to find the answer. But whatever is before the blank and whatever is after the blank plays a very vital role in understanding what could be in the blank. So let's read it. The pair have recently begun a 3-year program. It has a qualifying phrase just to confuse you. It's not important. Funded by the biotechnology and biological sciences research. It's absurd, so I will delete it so that you understand it better. I'll say the pair have recently begun a 3-year program to establish. Remember, in the blank there is to identify. So to identify and to establish mean the same. To establish what? The pair have recently begun a 3-year program to establish what? To establish which genes enable some plants to survive saline condition. To identify dash that promote growth in salt water. Do you understand what they are trying to identify? Which genes? So they are trying to identify which genes. So it is the genes that they are trying. Now remember, your answer has to be grammatically and spelling wise correct. To identify which genes will never be there. To identify genes that promote growth in salt water. So remember, this is the easiest way to approach the reading questions is by using the knowledge that you have already acquired a little while ago. First of all, locate the area of the text, read word by word and give the right answer. Let's move on to the next type. Now, the next type of questions are related to problems. The first type of question was asking about the aim of the research. Now we are not asking about the aim of the research. We are talking about problems. Problems that have caused the land to become unusable. So that is the problem they are talking about. Now, what is the problem? The problem is that salt inhibits the plant's growth. Because of salt, the plant can't grow. And the question says here, the blank says natural dash to seawater have been destroyed where? In tropics. So now there are two keywords for us to find out the problem. One is the problem and the other is the tropics. So whenever we will be talking about tropics, we will get an answer to this. So let's look at the passage. So one keyword is problem and then natural dash to seawater have been destroyed and the keyword is tropics. So problem and tropics. So let's find out if there is any problem discussed. Yes, in the second paragraph you can see the problem is caused by several factors and then we have tropics also. So that means we have located the area of the text where we will find our answer. And now what we need to do is calm down, read word by word and try to find the answer. For example, let me read it for you now. The problem is caused by several factors. Several. What does several mean? More than few but not many. So the problem is caused by several factors. And in the tropics, mangroves. You know what are mangroves? Mangroves are those plants that grow in water near coastal areas and they try to protect your land from seawater. So mangroves that create swamps. So they make the water thick swamps. And what do? They traditionally form barrier to seawater. What has happened to them? They have been cut down. So now look at this question again. Natural dash to seawater have been destroyed. There they are saying mangroves that create swamps and traditionally form what? They form barriers against seawater. Barriers to seawater have been cut down and the sentence says have been destroyed. So what should be the answer? Natural dash to seawater have been destroyed. Now can I say natural mangroves to seawater? It doesn't make sense. So it is the other word actually. Natural barriers to seawater have been destroyed. And what are those natural barriers? They are mangroves. Got me? Look, it's a test. Sometimes you may guess wrong, but you have to understand that your answer has to be grammatically correct. If whatever you think is right, try to put it in the frame. And if you see that no, it's grammatically not correct, it means it is not the right answer. So the right answer was barriers, and we have put them.